Hi everyone, it's Matt the Rock Crocheter, and I came in today. I thought I would show you guys my finished object, which I'm very pleased with. I was listening to some Iron Maiden and some Motorhead and a little bit of Judas Priest, and it usually gets me motivated to finish stuff because then I just go. Also, Fiber Jazz Rebecca is in the producer / lounge chair, and she's relaxing. Hello, my love.
Hello.
So she's doing her thing. We're kind of resting because of all the crocheting that we've done the last week or so. So I'm gonna switch to coloring for a couple of days. My hands are kind of shot. The shawl that I finished, I have to wash because I had Bengay on my hands. So I gotta make sure I wash it before I give it to the person that's going to. But it came out really good. It was actually a cross between two patterns that I liked, and I kind of put them together in my own way. The first one is a shout out to Crystal. Her Easy Chevron shawl was kind of the base, but then I really liked the Granny Ripple Crescent shawl from Fiber Spider, so that was an influence. So it's my own kind of mix of both of them, but both of those patterns were kind of inspiration for this shawl. So here's the shawl. It is the red, white, and blue. The red, white, and blue shawl. So it's not quite. It doesn't have the shape of Crystal shawl. It more has the shape of Fiber Spiders, and I thought it would be cool to have, like, since it's red, white, and blue, have kind of a star effect. And then I put this little collar on, so when you put it on, I'm not good at putting shawls on. Don't wear shawls too often. So see, it has like a nice little collar to it. Get you these down a little bit, and it lays nice. So if who this is going to, if they want to put a button, either or two buttons like here, or a button like at the collar to keep the collar together, they can do it, but I'm not gonna. I'll let them decide. So yeah, see, it comes on me. It comes down past my elbow, on the points of the star. So, and if it's not, if the star, it gives you some room to move. So I think it came out well. So I'm pretty pleased with it. This is the first time I put like a little collar on it, but I figured that would stop the rubbing on the neck, because this one wasn't. I don't think it's as soft as what I would have liked. So, but yeah, that's the Stars and Stripes, or the red, white, and blue shawl. So then I've got coming up, I've got, oof, my godmother's shawl. I'm finishing that up. It drove me crazy having, I had four whips, and it drove me crazy. I'm not, I like to have like two at the most. And so I have four. So I finished one, now I have three. So I'm going to work on my godmother's shawl, which I don't have that much more to go. I've got maybe less than a quarter of a Venus cake to finish it, and I'm glad my godmother has a lot of patience, because then I'll finish it. Because the two colors left on the ball are the green and the blue, and it's that's all I have left. So this one's going to be on the front burner. So I got to finish. I got to make sure I finish this because I finished a couple other shawls for her family, for my cousins, and so I want to be able to give it to them. You know, they've waited a year. Because other projects, you know, I've squirreled and other projects have come up. So I'm finishing that. I'm finishing the Southwestern blanket. That's the next one. And in between that, I'm going to mess around with the hybrid, my little hybrid shawl. So it's part knitting and part crochet, and it's all Malabrigo. So I wanted to make sure I finished that. Today, what I wanted to do is just kind of relax and just kind of talk to you guys and do some coloring. So it's going to be coloring with Mateo. Or driving everybody bananas with the way I do things. Really, to kind of, when I color, I've been asked if the books that I have, I actually go through a book at a time. And no. I see what grabs me, and you know, I'll start a picture, and then I'll see something else, and I want to do that one, and then I'll get done what I kind of see in my head, and then I'll go to another, to another color, like to another, if I see another one, or I'll go back to one that I've been working on and kind of, you know, keep working on it again. The one that I think a lot of you have seen is out of this book, Mythomorphia, which is my unicorn. And this one I did in bits and pieces. Like, I thought, okay, I just want to do this page, the head of the horse, the head of the unicorn, and some of the flowers. So I did that, and then it sat for a little while, and I did like other things. Like I did, you know, the Pegasus. I did. Where is it? started working on him. So it's whatever kind of speaks to me. The Phoenix, I had fun doing this one. And so, you know, I kind of started on that one also. And then I kind of came back to this one and then finished this page. So I did the horse, the pig, the unicorn head, and this whole page I did first, and then I came back and did like part of this, and then did some other stuff, and then did another part of it. I didn't do this. I didn't just sit down and do this in one shot. Then when I came back to it, I had a little more ideas of what I wanted to do. So that's kind of my thought process when I'm like working on the colors. It's really whatever speaks to me and what colors I'm looking at for doing the project speak to me. Like, you know, this dragon, if you can see it, it's like in the water. So I thought, wow, you know, it'd be kind of cool to have a blue dragon to like, so it could hide in the water. And so that was kind of the inspiration behind that. But I did the dragon, and then I kind of, you know, I thought, and so I moved to another one. I'm notorious for that, and I you know, I'll come home when I want to do like coloring, and I'll come home and I'll flip through the books, and then I'll flip through them again, and Rebecca's just watching me, and I think she thinks I'm crazy, and she's like, "Why don't you do this one? Why don't you do that one?" I say, they don't speak to me. And so finally I'll pick one that, you know, I think I see the colors in my head, and that's the one that I'll work on. The one we're going to be working on today is from my Extreme Coloring book, and it's going to be this violin of all things. I don't play violin, and I'm probably going to catch it for the way I want to color that violin, because I have it in my head because I play guitar. So I want to do it like guitar colors, which that's what I see. That's the way I see it. So that's what we're going to be working with. The colors that we're going to be working with are, I've gone through several different colors. The Color ones, I actually like them. The Color pencils, I actually really dig those. But the ones that I use that I just love and I get the best results from, is the Prisma Premier. And yeah, that's a big box of color pencils. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, shape, or form. But these just happen to be the pencils that I really like them. They go on really smooth. I'm able to blend it how I want them. So this is my weapon of choice. You may find you like the Castle ones. I had the Castle pencils. Rebecca really likes those. That's what she predominantly uses. But we tend to go like, for certain things, I switched to these pencils, or I switched to those pencils, or I wanted metallic colors, so I switched to the Castle ones because I have a set of metallic colors. So it just depends on what I want to do. So, and these are the actual. You can see how much I actually use them. Um, so these are without throwing them all over the house. So these are the Prismacolors, and there's a total of 6 trays in here, for all of the colors. So yeah, there's like 150. It's the 150 piece set. So I've got 150 colors, but I'm missing one because they made a new color and I don't have it. But from what I've heard from I think we were talking with, I think it's Jeremy. I guess it's kind of a green color. So I've got those. So here, let me switch around the camera. Give me just a sec, and we'll throw some color on the paper. Okay? So I will see you guys in a sec. So hello everybody, I'm back. These are my Prisma pencils. So let me unpack them. So this is the grayscale, and the golds, and so then you have the greens and starting into the blues, the yellows and the purples. And then the greens, the greens, the blue greens, the browns, the purples, and then more of the flesh tones and the red and the pink colors. So that's all this set comes with. I know that sounds crazy that that's all this comes with, but yes, those are all the colors. So let me get the colors out that I want. So I want one of the reds. At this point, so what I do is I'll set a couple of the trays that I'm going to use on here, and set them in front of me, and then there's 2 off camera on the side of colors that I'm going to use. So then I set this in front of me. Typically at this point I would be looking at the round circle reflected in the book. I go through and I kind of look at pictures, and go, okay, that one kind of speaks to me. That would kind of be cool. The flowers would be, I like that one. The parrot. This is a town that I did out of this book. So, but what we're gonna work on today, which I got this crazy idea, which is this violin. So what I'm thinking is, I know those are, I'm gonna do it more like a guitar. So this piece in a guitar would be like a silver. So I do have silver. So what I'm gonna do is, in my head, I'm just gonna start doing this silver, because typically a bridge of a guitar is silver, unless it's blacked out. Or I know violins are usually black. So I'll kind of layer the first light. It doesn't come out so good, but the first light layer of silver. And then, because I wanted to kind of stand out, I'll make it darker along the edges, so that it kind of fades into it gives it a little bit of, so it stands out a little bit. I'm not sure what they call it on a violin, but on a guitar they call it a tailpiece. So that's what I'm going with. So now that I've got the silver, I'm gonna kind of give it a little depth. Along the edges. And this is a slate gray, so it has that darker grayish color. So this, like a guitar, is usually like a hardwood. I don't know if violins they use rosewood, or on a guitar it's rosewood. The neck will be the face of the top of the neck will be rosewood. But I'm gonna do this first, because this was my crazy idea. What color is this? Pomegranate. Yeah, that'll work. Hang on for a second. Hang on for the noise. Nah, it's too purple. What's the next one? Pomegranate. That's... Nope. You'll see on my books that I have like a little scribble until I actually... Because I want like a red, and those are yeah, that's got it. Crimson red. What do you think of that? That's what color. That's what it's gonna be. So usually on a binding of a guitar, this piece right here, this edge piece around, is usually white. If they have a binding on it, it'll be like a white or a cream color. So what I'm gonna do with this one is I'm gonna kind of outline. Okay, got my handy dandy eraser, because I just saw something that I wanted, the shape that it kind of spoke to me. So let me get my eraser out. Yes, I've got the fancy schmancy eraser. So basically, do it. That. That's kind of the basic, the basic outline of what I want. So what I'm gonna start to do is, I'll start shading this in lightly and kind of get the shape that I want. And guys, I'm not a professional like graphic artist by any stretch of the imagination. I just like to have fun, and so if my form or my the way I'm holding the pencil or however I'm doing it is not like, you know, the proper technique or anything. Just please keep in mind, I'm doing this just to have some fun and to relax. Ooh, that wasn't relaxing because I just boo-booed. And I'm sure there's some really good drawers and artists and stuff that we have that watch us that are going, oh, what the heck is he doing? But that's that's just me. And I'm not sponsored by these guys either, but I like their eraser. It actually comes in really handy when I'm doing the charcoal, because then you can use it to kind of draw with. So that's like the edge, and so from there, what I want to do is I want to, like, to about there, I want it to be like a dark. So here I'm putting in a little darker hue. So I've kind of got my outline and kind of where the transition is going to be, or where I'd like it to be. Sometimes it doesn't go completely as planned. So I've got the red in, and then I'm going to go a lot darker just around the edge. Sorry about the silence. I'm used to drawing, like, you know, kind of by myself. I mean, not by myself because Rebecca's with me, but like turning off the noise and just doing it. So the color I want in the middle. What's that? Yeah. So if you've been around guitars, you kind of know the colors that I'm going for. So I've got to go in, kind of blend that out. I know violins typically aren't that color, but it popped in my head. So now I need a little bit of a lighter. Blend out that line. So now I've kind of basically got my guitar violin. Woo! So what I typically I do, and I'll do this because save some time and because I want to I wanna play with that with the violin. Um, is that I use uh, blending pencils, and the ones I actually use are Prisma, of course. And you see, I use them pretty. So, okay, close the ears. Okay. So, what I use it for is it smooths, as you can see, it smooths out the color. So what I do is I will smooth out the color and then see where I'm at. And that kind of blurs that line out. So now what I'll do is I'll go back and go, okay, it needs more, it needs a darker red, um, which it's coming out. It needs to have like a dark red edge to it. Which this helps me do because I did it in the darker color. So that brings out that red, the deep red edge to it. So you want it to go from a deep red to a bright yellow, and that's the color. So there you go. So that's kind of how I work. And like I said, I'm not uh, a professional by any stretch of the imagination. I just have fun with it, and I try and get the color in my head on the paper. Which is kind of what I did. So now we have a violin that kind of looks like a guitar, or is painted like a guitar. Kind of digging it. Also, you can see on the paper, or at least I can see, because of the type of paper it is, it tends to be a little. It looks like it's a little blotchy. and part of that's because of the paper, and it doesn't, with the way this paper is made, it kind of goes down a little blotchy, the color. But yeah, so we've colored a violin. So with that, my guitar violin. So with that, let me switch the camera around, and that was coloring with Mateo. Let me switch the camera around, and give me just a second. Hello everyone, I'm back. For you guys, it was only just a blink of an eye, and for me, it was a couple minutes because I had to put all my pencils back and kind of get things back in order, because I tend to spread out all over the place. And Rebecca will tell you that, especially when I'm cooking, I tend to get stuff like all over the place. But I'm a good cook. So that was kind of a little bit of my thought process and the coloring. I'm probably going to do like another one on another, maybe a different picture. The paper in that book is kind of grainy, so it leaves it kind of a grainy look to it. Whereas the other books I have, they're a little more. The paperweight is a little different, and so it comes out like these. It comes out, the colors. Where'd it go? I just saw it. Like the colors on this paper come out a lot smoother. Because it's not as a textured paper. So that's another consideration when you're looking at books. Take a look at the paper, make sure it's good paper, and not that one's not good paper, it's just different paper. I happen to like the ones with the shiny, more of the less textured. Whereas like this book's really cool, but the paper is a little more textured. So when you're working on like that violin, it tends to like show a little tends to show a little more. But heck, that came out good. Scared of me. I like playing with color. So please be kind. The technique and everything. Like I said, I'm not an artist. With as far as drawing and all of that. So, gotta give me a little bit. So with that, I hope to see you guys on Thursday. We're gonna have our normal live, and because it's July 3rd, so we're gonna have our normal live with Fiber Jazz, Rebecca, and I. So we look forward to seeing you, and come and hang out. We'll have some fun. We always talk about all kinds of stuff. So it'll be good to hang out and see everybody. Rebecca, would you like to say good evening?
Good evening, everyone.
Like I said, she's relaxing in her chair. So with that, you guys have a really blessed week this week. If we don't see you on Thursday, have a very happy 4th of July. And we'll see you all later.
Happy 4th, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.